I just think it's kind of ridiculous that they've asked Patel to leave 2 weeks before finals. We have a new teacher for lab and we have a new teacher for lecture. Our exams have been changed after we've already been given a study guide to study. In my opinion, Patel's the best one out there. He will take any time that he can to help you. Patel has pulled me up from an F to a C. Now, he helped me pull my grade up. Patel gives you all kind of one-on-one time. Now that they have terminated him, Patel has even offered to go to a park or somewhere with all the students and help them study for their finals. There's not another teacher on that campus that is going to do that. Not one. Patel helps you. He goes over. They supposedly let him go for his tenure, but they won't give us any details. They say that it's none of the students' business, but it is our business. That was our professor for a whole entire semester until 2 weeks up to our finals. And they just throw us out just the way that they did him. It's not only not fair to Dr. Patel, but it's not fair to the students either, because now we're stressing because they've changed our material, they've taken our teacher, they tell us to calm down and everything, but it's not right. They could have waited 2 weeks.
Have you gone to the administration at the college?
I have not personally, but there are a lot of people that have, and they have written letters. And there are a bunch of students talking about going to Montgomery to the Board of Education for the college because they won't give us any reason. All we want to know is why, but they just tell us it's none of our business.
I've not talked to the school officials, but I've heard rumors that it's because he gives you grades. He's not hard on the student, and he doesn't challenge the student. What's your response?
Are you serious?
What's your response to that?
No, Patel does not give us grades. Patel, like I said earlier, Patel gives us a lot of one-on-one time after class if we need it. If not, he offers it to everyone. He replies to everything on WebCT promptly. He helps us. Me and her and this girl right here and another girl, we're in there almost every day. He sets up labs, he sets up little practice tests to help us. We don't get grades for it, but it's just to help us. Patel does not give us grades. He helps us to raise our grade. Like I said, I went from a high F to a 74, but Patel does not give you grades at all. You have to earn everything in that class.
What subject does he teach?
He is teaching us in biology, 103.
All right, some of you others, have y'all gone to the administration?
I have went to administration. I went to the dean here at the Dothan campus, and all they will tell you is that it was an administrative decision to let Dr. Patel go and not to keep him and tenure him in continue him as a tenured teacher at Wallace Community College, and that's all they'll tell you. And they'll keep telling you the same thing over and over and over again, and then they'll explain to you how tenure works, how you've been there for 3 years, and then they have to give you 14 days notice before they decide your first contract runs out after 3 years. They have to notify you 14 days before that if they're going to either tenure you in or if they're going to leave you as just let you go, pretty much. Well, what kills me is they let Patel know 14 days before the end date of his contract that they were not going to tenure him in, but yet they fired him that same day and did not let him finish out the 2 weeks of the semester that was left.
All right, so the day they fired him, they didn't let him continue teaching for the 14 days?
They did not let him finish the 14 days that was left in his contract.
Who is the dean that you went to?
What's his name? Tony something.
Have y'all tried to see Dr. Young, the president?
No.
You gotta follow it.
You have to follow a chain of command to get to him, and the only way that the president will speak to you is if the dean approves it. And if we're all asking the dean the same question, they're not going to pass us on through to the president.
So you're telling me the president of the Wallace College refuses to see the students
unless the dean approves of it.
You have to go through 2 to 3 people.
You have to start with your teacher, and then you go to the director.
They tell you it's confidentiality.
Yeah, it's all confidentiality.
You gotta go through Patel, or in our case now, Dr. Speed. Then you have to go
Because
through
we young kids or something.
Mr. Babb. Then you have to go through Mr. Holland. Then you have to go through the dean, and then if the dean approves it, then you get to talk to Dr.
There's a
Linnell.
lot of garbage.
All right, let me ask you a question. Do y'all have a choice where you go to school?
Yes.
So you could choose not to go to Wallace College.
Yes.
So why did you choose to go to Wallace College?
I personally chose to go to Wallace College because I've talked to several of the teachers. I like the atmosphere. I like the way that the teachers are set up, and they actually give you time to speak with them, whether it be through email, going to their class when they're in, or going to their office when they have their free time. They have scheduled times for you to be able to talk to them. And if you can ask any person here that's ever talked to them, you can go to some of the other science instructors and they are never in their office. But yet you can sit there and go, and Patel's there every time that his office says he's there, and even times when he's not. And my whole thing about this situation is the stress that it's putting on the students, because the administration doesn't realize how many of us, the day after Patel got terminated for unknown reasons, as the college says, we have the HESI test, or we have the CAT test. A bunch of us in the nursing program are sitting here stressing because we don't know who's going to be thrown in as our teacher, what their teaching styles are, where they're coming from.
This has happened 2 weeks before your semester?
2 weeks before our finals.
Before your finals. And how long have you had him?
We've had him since January the 19th.
How old are y'all?
20.
I'm 19.
How does it feel that your first brush with government officials, and I'm talking about the President of Wallace College, that they're too good to sit down and talk to?
It really personally hurts my feelings, because I've registered to vote. I registered to vote for president, every local registration, whole 9 yards. I go and I vote for who I want to be there. And it takes me back to a point like, does it really matter if I vote or not when the president of the college, that's not even the president, the mayor, or whoever, but the president of a local college will not even speak to the students that go there. It's offensive to any person who is registered to vote or who is old enough to vote, whether you vote or not. It's offensive to go to a community college and not have the president willing to talk to you. Even if you try to set up an appointment, you still have to get approval through the dean to get an appointment with him, and there's no guarantee that he'll actually see you then, because they're never on the college campus.
What do you want the school to do?
Personally, bring Patel back, but obviously that's probably not going to happen. But at least give us a reason why they could not let him finish his 2 weeks out, and to not put as much stress on us because we have final exams next week.
Give us a warning, at least. Exactly. They could have gave us like a week notice, because the administration obviously knew ahead of time. Even it might not have been at the beginning of the semester, it might have been halfway through the semester. They decided that they're not going to tenure him because they knew his tenure date was coming up. They could have gave the classes somewhat of a warning and be like, hey, look, this is what's going on. He's not going to be tenured in, or he's going to be released for reasons that we don't want to say, but we're giving you a warning so that you expect the oncoming change, not just throw it on you 2 weeks before finals.
But excuse me. My thing is, why you gonna find someone who has came in, build a foundation for us students to teach us from down low? Because I probably had a D or a low grade, but even though if I can't go to anyone else, I can go to him, and he's sitting down on his time. He have to go back to Troy and teach when that. He'll still come back in. He'll say, Josh, let me help you out. And he's right there on time. But my thing is, if you check at the math department, you check at the science department, what it got to do with diversity? It's everything, a lot of other still racial things that's going on out there, that's going around and you cannot see. That's why we got Reverend Glasgow and different people, other folks out here, but to protest or whatever. But still, they just still give the man his job back to help us students. Exactly. That's all we want. But nevertheless, to give us an answer of why they why they doing it to him.
Exactly.
That's my answer.
It's not just him. There was another teacher that was also let go on the same day as Patel, that was a nursing clinical instructor for the LPN program. So it's not just Patel, and it's not just Patel's class that the stress is going through. It's also, you got nursing clinical students that have been pulled, their teacher's been pulled and shoved in there with a new clinical instructor all at the same time. So it's not just this particular group of people. There's more people that are at Wallace that are being affected by this.
My best friend